Good evening and welcome to the Tyngsborough Finance Council meeting. Today is July 10th, 2024, and it is 6 p.m. I guess we can start with a quick introduction of who's here, starting with Dave.
David Andrews, Finance Director, Town Government.
Carolyn Scafidi, Finance Committee Member.
Welcome aboard.
Thank
nice
you.
to see you here.
Thank you.
I am Larry Clausen, your chair, and
Scott Pazerski.
okay. So, jumping right to it, public comment. The public is swimming and boating. They are not here. It is currently over 90 degrees outside, so that's
Who should we let go first?
that exactly. Yeah, so that's where I think the public is. Let me see. So we have the minutes of last meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Okay. I'm hoping
A second.
Okay. That's good, because nobody else. Okay, motion second. Anyone in favor of approving the minutes for the April 24th meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Abstain, okay. But 2 out, so do we need 3 for that to go through, or?
I think 2-1,
2-1, okay.
Okay.
All right.
I hope.
So we're gonna say those minutes are approved, and we can move right along to our main order of business, which is reviewing and approving the year-end transfers. And I will turn it over to Dave.
All right. Good evening. So the year-end transfers, what they are is we do kind of what's known as a bottom line budget in Tyngsborough, and what that is the total budgeted amount that we all approve at town meeting, the expenses for both payroll and expenses total all the way to the bottom, and then if you're in the positive, then you don't get put on this bad list. And it's not a bad list, it's just, you know, if there's unexpected expenditures or overages, you'll see we have notes for each one of these. There is nothing to be worried about any of these buckets. When we do the budget process, we are looking over past years, you know, generally 3 to 5 years of expenses, so that this doesn't continually happen. These aren't recurring problems, you know, these are just kind of one-offs, and it kind of shows that we're able to do these year-end transfers within our budget that we have budgeted accurately, right? So the total budgeted amount for revenues is more than the amount that we expended for the year. So certainly there may be smaller deficits within the departments, but there is not a deficit overall. And so that means that the overage on the surplus, if you will be added to free cash in the fall, and we'll see that. So I'll go down these individually, kind of give you the explanation. So the first two are both going to be from the administration. These are the vacation payouts because we had some turnover both at the assistant town manager and town manager position. Right? So that's kind of like hopefully we can keep calling forever, right? But when people leave and you have to contractually pay out no one can hear me. Everybody was happy there for a second. When you have to contractually pay out the vacation, you know, so. In my department, the audit came in about 26,000 over. Now that seems like a significant increase, but it's kind of a combination of, we were in the last year for FY22, that's a couple years ago, we were in the third year with Markham, that's our former auditor. We switched to to CLA, okay, so there are new auditors, and you know, it's kind of as an onboarding, they enhanced the scope. So it was a more expensive because we got back into the market, and they had to enhance the scope as a first year. Okay. Now it's going to go up a little bit for FY25, but you'll see in FY26, unbelievably, our audit expenses are going to go down. You'll see the first ever audit or expense go down. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm going to take all the credit. Tax title and foreclosure, that was significantly over. It just happens, we have two foreclosure efforts going on currently. Professional services, that came in a little over 25,000. We hired an independent firm.
Actually, jumping back, what are we foreclosing on?
So it's properties that we go into, that we have like litigation on. The specific properties I do not know myself, but I can get you that information.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Professional services, we had hired an independent CPA to kind of work with our treasurer department, both for training and just kind of cleaning things up. That was part of that free cash effort that was before annual town meeting. Labor Council, we're currently in arbitration with all the collective bargaining. You'll see there's a couple small ones like the MS4 compliance and then the sewer septic for the police station. We didn't put a note with those. They're both under 2,000. Really, we kind of blame it on one line item. It's probably a couple different line items that came in like $400 over. So those are just smaller, but we are acknowledging them just so they're not deficits. Electricity, for town hall and police station, those look pretty significant, right? In total, that's $40,000. Sure, utility costs may go up, but what this is last year we failed to reallocate the solar credits that we get, okay? And we can only do that every 2 years, okay? So currently we have $100,000 in credits for electricity. So we have other bills that say negative $50,000, but we have to pay this one because this one these still have expenses without the credits applied to them, okay? So we were not going to allocate, National Grid just doesn't allow you to kind of pick and choose. So every 2 years we're able to reallocate those solar credits. So this is kind of just, it's not necessarily a formality because it's a deficit for FY24, right? But in the future, the credits will take over all the expenses that we have for.
Are those by credits, are you talking like SREX and SMART program?
Yeah, it's through the solar farm there.
Okay.
So we get monthly bills from National Grid that have such a substantial credit in it that every expense we pay for is covered, and it's just a negative bill and we don't have to do anything with it. So while we are paying this one and this one looks significant, it's just we will reallocate when we're able to, which probably will be for FY26.
Okay.
We just failed to do it last year, unfortunately.
So, on a net basis, do we have zero, if everything had been allocated correctly, do we pay anything other than when it's not allocated?
No, we don't, like I said, we have $100,000 in credits currently,
that's-
so it's covering, like the school, I believe, has a significant portion of the credits currently, and so they're not paying into National Grid on some of them. Like some bills are still going that aren't applied, I wouldn't even wanna guess how many National Grid accounts we do have. I would say we probably allocate the credits to the larger ones, right? So there's some smaller ones we're probably still paying. It would be great if we could just say, hey, we have all these credits just applied to National Grid in general, but.
So you said, are we allowed to break it up?
Yep, we
Okay,
certainly break it up.
We can put 2% here and 4% here?
Yeah.
So you just need to fine tune that
Yeah.
to solve this? Okay.
Yeah.
And so, as we electrify our fleet, this should actually help us out, right?
Certainly. I think the program as a whole, the solar, is a positive, and we're seeing the credits, It's just the group that we're in, that we have other towns as well that are doing this. The 2-year part that I'm talking about, if they change it and we didn't, then that kind of counts, and there's just some bureaucracy, if you will, or red tape that kind of makes it harder than it should be. You know, it's a credit to our account. Why can't
Right.
we just do it? But
Yeah,
if you've ever worked with National Grid, I hate to blow them up, but I probably wouldn't be the first one to complain.
probably not, no.
But yeah, so it's, the deficits are here currently, but we have the credits as well, and we will be changing that when we're able to.
So, you know what, I've been trying to ask various people, but how does the fueling station work? Like, the police department, fire department, they both use fuel, right? How is that broken out in the budget?
So each department has line items for gasoline and fuel, right? Now, we get a full document that says how much was used, and my assistant actually breaks it out individual per departments and disperses the record and says, this is how much we charged you every time. So
Yeah.
each department does budget the amount they're supposed to use for the year, and then we get the monthly gas bill, and then the gas bill gets split up in between the account numbers.
And they're keeping track, making sure nobody's filling their personal car, right? Like, or is that outside your,
So, I mean, I've seen how it's done. I don't know that they would have that type of control. And
Yeah.
there might be, but I can't speak to it.
all right,
Going down a little farther, overtime for dispatch, you'll see that there was a full-time position that was vacant since September, so that's gonna, make a significant overtime. Holiday sick vacation for fire, we're kinda still adjusting from their last contract, gave some additional benefits to, I believe it's the part-time firefighters, and so the department as a whole is only deficit, $4,000. This line item by itself was pretty significant. Thankfully, the fire department had a great year or didn't expend the rest of their budget, so it covered up a little bit. But we made a concerted effort to get this line item, that holiday sick vacation, back in line this year for FY '25. And then street lighting, there is some increased electrical costs, but there were some repairs that are outside the warranty that we had to do, so. Now, we used, the task at the end of the year is to ask departments, hey, are you gonna have any leftover money, right? And then we use the surplus from them to cover up the deficits for other departments, right? We're kinda, it's under the umbrella of the general fund, but, that's how the year-end transfers actually generally go. This year, there were only $255,000 in total, which I can tell you is about half of what we generally deal with at this. So it wasn't altogether that difficult. We had health insurance surplus, because we try to budget, health insurance, stuff like that. It can go up significantly year over year, and so we budget in surplus for it, and it covered up this entire amount for the budget. So I think as a whole, when you looked at the totality of the budget, it was a really positive year. There's a couple items in here that certainly are one-offs. I think we took some great strides with the Treasurer's Department. Again, the audit was kind of a new thing, with new auditors, but so going forward, that'll be budgeted. There's gonna be some turnover, I'm sure, in other departments, but that's kind of just a natural course of business. So, all in all, I think it was a really positive year, and I think that was reflected by how easy it was to make this transfer as a whole.
Okay. Other questions for David? Anybody?
make a motion to approve year-end transfers?
Second?
Okay, I've got a motion, and a second. All in favor of approving year-end transfers, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion to adjourn.
Abstain, opposed, no. Okay, so that's good. They're approved. Motion adjourned.
Second?
We're adjourned.
Yay.
Okay.
I did it.